Somewhere in the archives, there's probably an old photo of a teenage Alex Eala on a practice court in Manila, hammering forehands into a fence. No packed stadium, no television cameras, no ranking beside her name. Just a young player putting in the work when almost nobody was watching. Now fast forward to Washington, D.C., just days ago. That same player is standing under the lights with a trophy in her hands while an entire stadium chants her name. On the other side of the net, the world number 3 is still processing what just happened. Jessica Pegula admitted afterward that the conditions felt different and that she had actually played better the previous day, but none of that changed the result. Alexandra Eala, now 21 years old and ranked number 20 in the world, had just become the first player from the Philippines to win a WTA Tour singles title. And now comes the part that could tell us whether Washington was simply an unforgettable week or the beginning of something much bigger. On August 13th, Eala is scheduled to walk onto the grounds of the Cincinnati Open. She won't be arriving as a wild card. She won't be fighting her way through qualifying. She'll enter directly into the main draw as the newest champion on tour, carrying a resume that nobody else in Cincinnati can claim right now. To understand why players around the WTA suddenly have every reason to pay attention, you really only need 3 facts. First, during one incredible week in Washington, Eala defeated the tournament's top 3 seeds. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Second, she did it on hard courts, the surface where many people believed she was still developing. And third, she now enters a WTA 1000 event featuring 75 of the world's top 77 players, including Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula. Yes, the same Pegula Eala just defeated 4-6, 6-4, 6-0 to capture the biggest title of her career. That's where this stops being just another feel-good championship story. Nobody is asking anymore whether Alex Eala is capable of competing with the best players in women's tennis. Washington answered that question. The real question now is whether DC represented her ceiling, one magical week where everything clicked, or whether it was a threshold, the moment she stepped through a door and permanently became a different kind of player. Tennis history gives us examples of both. Some players win a breakthrough title and spend years trying to rediscover that level. Others reach that level once and never really give it back. Cincinnati will give us the first clue about which path Eala is on. And one reason the rest of the field has to take this seriously is what Pegula said immediately after losing the final. She didn't blame the interruption. She didn't hide behind the weather. She didn't say fatigue decided the match. Instead, she congratulated Alex on an amazing week and an amazing tournament before adding, "I don't know how much more I can say, but you're an amazing player." Think about who is saying that. That's the world number 3, the player with every opportunity to explain away an unexpected loss, choosing instead to acknowledge exactly what happened. 2 weeks earlier, Eala was ranked number 28 in the world. She had never won a WTA Main Tour singles title. She had already shown flashes of elite-level tennis, including a semi-final run in Miami and victories over highly ranked opponents, but she hadn't completed an entire tournament run. She was still viewed by many as a player for the future, somebody everybody should keep an eye on, but maybe not somebody expected to dominate right now. Then Washington happened. Eala entered the Mubadala City DC Open on hard courts, where powerful servers and bigger hitters can often control matches. The field was packed with experienced players, with Pegula leading the draw as the number 1 seed. Eala's opening match immediately tested her. She had to come from a set down to survive. Then came Clara Tauson, and that match could have ended her tournament right there. Eala trailed 5-1 in the deciding set, 1 game from the edge. Instead of folding, she won 6 straight games. That comeback matters even more when you look at everything that followed, because individually, each victory could be called an upset. Put them together in sequence, though, and something else becomes clear. We weren't simply watching Eala win matches. We were watching a player evolve right in front of us. In the quarterfinals, she defeated Elina Svitolina, the number 10 seed and one of the most experienced competitors on tour, 6-3, 6-4. Afterward, Eala was asked why she seemed capable of finding another gear when matches became difficult. Her answer was revealing. She explained that it came with the level of her tennis getting higher because she always wanted to win and always wanted to fight. What's interesting is what she didn't say. She didn't sound shocked. She didn't act like she couldn't believe she was beating these players. She spoke like somebody beginning to understand that this level belonged to her. Then came Naomi Osaka, 4-time Grand Slam champion, 3rd seed, one of the defining stars of her generation and a player rediscovering the tennis that once made her nearly unbeatable on hard courts. Before this tournament, very few people would have looked at an Eala-Osaka matchup and confidently picked Alex. Eala won 6-4, 6-2. No third set escape. no wild finish, no lucky bounce deciding everything. She beat Osaka in straight sets, and then came the final against Pegula. This might become one of those matches people replay years from now when they talk about the exact moment Eala's career changed. She lost the opening set, then weather interrupted the match. That delay gave both players time to reset. Pegula had time to regroup, study what was happening and return with a plan. Eala had the exact same opportunity. When they came back, Eala didn't merely survive. She eventually won the third set 6-0. 6 straight games against the world number 3 in a championship match. That's the detail that makes Washington so difficult to dismiss as a simple hot streak. Adrenaline might steal a game. Momentum might help you grab a break. But running through an elite opponent 6 games in a row after a lengthy interruption requires something deeper: concentration, execution, confidence, and the ability to raise your level when the pressure is at its highest. Pegula returned ready to play her game. Eala returned playing even better than the level that had gotten her to the final. The WTA's own coverage highlighted the extraordinary statistic afterward: Eala had beaten the number 1, number 2, and number 3 seeds at the same tournament. That's why Cincinnati suddenly feels completely different. The Cincinnati Open is a WTA 1000 event and one of the biggest stops before the US Open. With 75 of the world's top 77 players expected in the field, there are very few comfortable matchups. Sabalenka enters as the defending champion. Swiatek will be chasing another deep run. Coco Gauff will be competing during the American hardcourt swing. Pegula will also be there. And now so will Eala. Last year, she would have been approaching a tournament like this from an entirely different position. This time she enters as the newest champion on tour and as a player whose recent results are impossible to ignore. Pegula's comments also provided something close to an early scouting report. She spoke about Eala's variety, the difficulty of reading her ball, and how uncomfortable she is to play against. That matters because Pegula has built an elite career around taking rhythm away from opponents. When a player like that says a 21-year-old is difficult to figure out, other players listen. But this story is bigger than one tournament. Eala's Washington victory made her the first Filipino player in WTA history to win a tour-level singles championship. The ranking update following the tournament pushed her to world number 20, another first for Philippine tennis. Her 2026 prize money has climbed beyond $1.5 million, while her season record stands at 35 victories against 18 defeats. Those numbers matter because they prove this season hasn't been built around one random week. Washington was the explosion, but the climb had already been happening. Back home in the Philippines, congratulations came pouring in from public officials, fellow athletes, and a tennis community that has followed Eala's development for years. Yet one of the most memorable moments actually came before she lifted the trophy. During a press conference, a reporter asked what it felt like to become a global rising star. Eala paused and pushed back on the framing. "I think the question should be rephrased. It's what is it like to be Filipino?" That sentence may follow her for a long time. She wasn't interested in being presented simply as an exception or a rare individual success story. She redirected attention toward the identity and community she represents. For Filipino fans watching from Manila, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, Hawaii, and everywhere else around the world, that moment carried weight far beyond a ranking number. Still, before anybody treats this like a coronation, remember what happened only about 6 weeks earlier. At Wimbledon, Eala faced defending champion Barbara Krejcikova in the opening round. Eala won the first set and had the reigning champion under serious pressure. Then she lost. The match showed a player who could open the door against the very best but wasn't quite ready to walk all the way through it. The difference between that Wimbledon loss and Washington wasn't measured in years. It happened in a matter of weeks. Against Towson, Eala came back from 5-1 down in the third set. Against Pegula, she came back after losing the opening set of the final. Whatever changed between late June and early August, the biggest difference was simple: Eala started finishing the story. And that brings us right back to Cincinnati. Soon the draw will be released, and somebody will see Alexandra Eala's name sitting across from theirs. That player's team will pull up the Washington tape. They'll watch the comeback. They'll watch Svitolina. They'll watch Osaka. They'll watch Pegula. And they will absolutely watch that 6-0 final set. Then they'll have to solve a problem that looked very different only 2 weeks ago. Eala is no longer walking into these tournaments as the promising young player everybody expects to become dangerous someday. Someday showed up early. She has entered the room occupied by seeded players, champions, and legitimate threats, and she earned her way into that room by beating the players who were already there. That old photograph from a quiet Manila practice court and the new photograph of Eala holding a championship trophy in Washington don't show two different people. They show the same journey. The kid kept swinging. The rankings kept climbing. The opportunities got bigger. And eventually, the endings started changing.
Now comes Cincinnati, a main draw Eala has never experienced before, against a field designed to test whether her new level can survive week after week against the best players on the planet.
Washington gave us the breakthrough. Cincinnati may tell us what it actually means. And if you've been following Eala's rise all summer, don't look away now, because this story just got a whole lot louder.